It's another brand new day. It's sparkly and bright, and it's fresh with no mistakes, and quite literally waiting for us to show up. But it's 10 o'clock in the morning, so maybe you've already shown up and you're already well into your day because you set your intention and that you are diligently working on moving in that direction. Today, I wanted to talk to you about consequences. And I'm sure that when I say the word consequences, that you're thinking about those negative consequences. And yes, but I think there's also another side to it. You see, yesterday I went outside and sat on a trike. I've worked out that if you call it a tricycle, that's more of a kid's bike. I sat on a trike and I have consequences of those actions. So it took a lot out of me. My left leg is a bit dodgy today, and those are the consequences. Now, I knew that was going to happen, but I did it anyway. And I think that sometimes the consequences of our actions prevent us from doing things. And I think of consequences in both a positive and a negative sense, because it's all in the word. In real terms, a consequence is the result of an action that you have taken. And so equally, the result could be a positive one, or it could be a pleasant one. It could be an unpleasant one. It could be a not so positive one. But if we spend the time sitting down, thinking about all of the things that could happen, that could go wrong, we never actually take the action. And there's probably more of the times that we sit there and think, well, if we do that, this could happen. And what happens if I fail? And what happens if, people laugh at me or people don't like me? Or, we think about those things, and then that paralyzes us and prevents us from moving forward. And that just reminded me of a story I heard where, in an American story, where a young boy was preparing to go to his first prom, and he was sitting there and he was looking concerned and looking anxious and worried, and his father said to him, what's going on, son? And he said, he's kind of worried about asking a girl to dance. And this is what his father said. His father said, if you don't ask a girl to dance, are you dancing? And the son said, no. And he said, if you ask a girl to dance and she says no, are you dancing? And he said, no. And he said, okay, so you have got a greater possibility of dancing by asking the question than if you sit there and do nothing. And that, yes, that she may say no, but you would have learnt something in the process. And so I think I'm saying here is that when you think about the consequences, when you think about the results that could happen as a result of the actions that you take, that yes, it is important to think about the outcome and where it is that it's going. But don't let the thoughts in your head prevent you from taking the actions. Obviously, if there are things that, don't stand in front of a loaded gun, because if somebody pulls the trigger, the likelihood is that, the consequences won't be so great. So I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't think about things, but don't allow that to be the excuse you use for not doing something. And I say excuse because I heard this said that an excuse is a well-crafted reason. Because we've all got reasons not to do things. We've all got reasons why it is that we are in the position that we're in. We've all got reasons why we're here, we're in that relationship, we're in that job, we're in that place. We've all got reasons. And they're legit, aren't they? But sometimes we are using that as our excuse to not do something. Because I could say to you, right, well, there are lots of reasons why, I'm unable to do things. And so therefore I'm not going to do them because, you know, I've got these legitimate reasons, and I can give you medical reports. I can give you all of these things. And whilst it is that they are factually correct, because they are facts, they're not the truth. Because you are greater than your situation or your circumstance. There is actually more to you than you are currently experiencing or currently settled for. And if you actually looked at a timeline of the journey that you have traveled, even if it is just in the last 12 months, there are going to be things that you have overcome. It was hard. It was emotional. It was devastating, whatever the terms that you would use. But you know what? You're here being able to talk about it and look back. So you therefore have got the skills in your hand to be able to deal with the thing. If you take that step and it doesn't quite go the way in which it is that you'd like it to, you're already equipped to be able to manage that and navigate your way through that. I've got a theory that by the time you reach the age of 18, maybe even younger than that, you have experienced every emotion that you are ever going to experience. So you have experienced death. It may not be a physical death, but it's been a death of a relationship. It might have been the death of a pet. It was a death, the death of an idea. You've experienced that emotion. You've experienced anger. You've experienced birth. And I don't mean the physical giving birth of a child, but you had that whole idea, that thought, that plan, that dream that became a reality. And you went through the painful moments between having it here and it actually showing up. And so you've already experienced that. And so when those emotions happen again, it's not that you haven't experienced them, you just haven't experienced them in that way, but you've already got strategies, you've already coped, you've already navigated your way through it. So actually, you can do it. That can no longer be a barrier preventing you from doing it because you've already got the tools in your toolkit. So consequences are the outcomes of actions. And actually, if you've taken the action, and this is obviously on the proviso that the actions I'm talking about are the ones that are going in the direction of your dreams. They are going in the direction of serving others. They are going in that direction. That then the consequences are just outcomes of the fact that you actually did it. And that from that, you will learn new ways of doing. You will learn that actually, okay, so if I went left, that didn't work. Right, okay, I'm going to go right now. Oh, or maybe you do that and that doesn't work. Okay, so I've been left, that didn't work. I've been right and that didn't work. Okay, I'm going to go straight ahead. And it's that whole thing about looking at, okay, this is what has happened. That is factually correct. But what's the truth? Does that really say that you're not good enough? Does that really say that you can't do it? Does that really say that the world doesn't like you, the world is against you, that nothing's ever going to work? Does that really say that? I'm going to suggest to you that no, it doesn't. And one of the interesting things that I've also learned on this journey is the fact that things happen and those are events. And they are factually correct. And at the time that they are happening or have happened, you have deep emotions about it. You know, there's the hurt, there's the pain, there's the anger, whatever the emotions are. But as you're looking back on it, those emotions cannot be the same. You can remember them, but the emotions in the moment can't be the same as they were when it was actually happening. Because all you are now doing is you are remembering a story. And so therefore, rather than label the emotions now as the same as they were then, really it's about understanding the emotions now. Because they can't be the same as they were then, because it's not happening to you now. And then the other thing that I've learned is that we have events and we have emotions, and they aren't together until we put them together. So something could happen and that you are fearful in that time that scared you. But it actually was the thing that happened, and you chose you've got an arsenal of emotions, and you chose the fear emotion to add to that, because it could easily be excitement, it could be anticipation, it could be a number of different emotions. And I'm not talking about danger here, because danger and fear aren't the same thing, or the fear in danger isn't the same as the fear that we have over things. Like, I've got no, it's not actually a fear. No, I've got a phobia. It's probably the same kind of thing, but people fear things like spiders. You are much bigger than the spider. So actually, that isn't a fear thing. It could be just like, actually, I don't like spiders and I'd rather them not be in my space. But fearing, yeah, it's probably not the right emotion to attach to it. But it's that whole thing where we see the thing and the emotion as one. And I'm suggesting to you that actually they're two different things. So when something happens and that you recognize that this is my automatic emotion, that actually you could challenge yourself and ask yourself, could there be another emotion going on here? Could I attach another emotion to this? But either way, it's always striving not to live in your emotions, because essentially the emotions are a wonderful barometer, because they will tell you the temperature. They will tell you whether you're hot, whether you're cold, how it is that you're feeling today, but never use them as a compass. So I'm saying to you today that everything that we do, there is a consequence. But I'm saying that, yes, there is, the consequences are loaded with negativity, but I'm suggesting to you that essentially they are simply outcomes for us to look at and, yeah, recognize that actually if I do this, that is a possible or likely outcome. Okay, am I happy with that being an outcome? And if you're not, then maybe you need to reconsider the action. But if you're okay with that, then go for it. Like I said, that I knew that going outside yesterday and going outside with the trike yesterday was going to result in my body feeling tired, because that was a lot of energy to do. And so I could have said, well, actually, I've got things to do today. And maybe I had things to do yesterday evening. So therefore don't do it, because you're going to be tired. So yeah, do it another time. But another time may never come. How many times have we put things off because we're going to do it at another time? And actually, there is no such time as another time. The only time is that we actually have is the now time. And so the question I would ask you about the things that you're holding back from doing because the consequences may be too great. If not now, then when? Because if you're holding back, then it's clearly something that you want to do. And I am talking about legal and moral things. I'm not talking about anything outside of that. So yes, there will be consequences, because there will always be an outcome. But don't let the fear or the thought of the outcome prevent you from doing the thing that you want to do, or is the thing to get you to the next level. Because action is the currency of success. And if we sit here and wait for things to happen, I don't know how to tell you this, it doesn't happen. That we can talk all we want about the laws of attraction. We can talk about the importance of prayer. And I'm not saying that either of those things aren't valid, but I'm saying that if all you do is sit and wait for things to happen, then don't be surprised if you're still sitting in the same place. You've got to take action in order to move forward. There is no other way. And the actions aren't necessarily physical actions. They could be emotional actions, spiritual actions, but they are actions nonetheless. So today I'm saying to you, yep, I'm talking to you personally. This is the beginnings of a new month, and the landscape is before you. Step boldly onto it, believing that yes, you can. Come on. From my heart to yours, sending you lots of love.